Hello, lovies. Welcome back to WitchyMarlaina's Ghost Adventures. I'm your host, WitchyMarlaina, and today, the Big Book of Paranormal is where we're diving back into. And last week we talked about werewolves and the potential of werewolves. Well, we're going to dive into a story that features another cryptid. This guy. Let's get started. July 1924. Fred Beck and 4 other friends of his are in a cabin close, like northwest of Portland, Oregon, called Ape Canyon, Washington. They're doing some mining. They're all asleep in the cabin, which they just erected themselves that week. And all of a sudden they hear rocks being tossed at the cabin. And of course, Fred was one of the first ones to kind of stir to hear the noise. And then all of a sudden his other friends are starting to wake up because they're hearing it sounds like, not like pebbles. It almost sounds like rocks thrown at the cabin. And they get kind of freaked out about it. And one of his friends shoots a gun. The rocks stop. So they try to relax, and then the following night, the rocks started back up again. And this time, it was coming from the sides of the cabin, on the roof of the cabin. It was almost like they heard even pounding of fists on the side of the cabin, and they're like, whoa, this doesn't sound like rocks anymore. This sounds like people. Someone's trying to get in. They tried so hard to batten down the hatches, and they were... Again, they thought, okay, well, let's shoot our guns. Maybe that'll scare it away. They did. A few moments later, they came back with a vengeance. Like I said, the roof was feeling like it was caving in. The sides of the cabin were just they were under attack. One of Fred's fellow miners actually saw a furry ape-like hand came through the wall of their cabin, and they were able to push it back into the hole, and he weren't attacked by the ape-like hand, and nothing tried to come back into that hole, which I thought was kind of... So I guess they must have patched it up while they were trying to wait out this attack. Once the morning hit, all 5 of them ran out of the cabin and saw a large shadow-like figure heading up the hills. And of course, they tried to shoot at it again. Didn't really hang around this time to see if anything happened to the big shadowy figure. And they ran straight to the Forrest Ranger. These guys were shook. And telling and retelling this story and their experiences to the Forrest Ranger, people were like, they were probably telling you a fib. They were telling you a big story. And he's like, I have never seen men this scared ever in my life. So were the miners on Bigfoot's land and they were kind of over it? Or they saw that the miners were harming the land and this was them defending it? It's kind of... this, and like I said, people has there been another big story like this since 1924? This is a 100-year-old story. Isn't that crazy to think that this was passed down through generations and is now in the Big Book of Paranormal to talk about? Does that mean that there's more than one Bigfoot that possibly live in like little colonies, and maybe there are only a few left? Maybe there were more back 100 years ago, and now they're not hanging around so much anymore? I don't know. But I can definitely see Bigfoot being pissed that someone builds a house on their land and is messing up their trees or mining their... I can see that going down. What do you think? Thank you so much for joining me on my ghost adventures. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.